Hey there, upgraders, Roquinia here, and I'm about to answer a question that haunts fitness enthusiasts everywhere. How strong do you actually need to be? But here's the plot twist that's going to reframe everything. The answer isn't one number, it's four completely different thresholds, and most people are aiming for the wrong one. Picture this. Two people walk into a gym. Person A is chasing a 500-pound deadlift because that's what gets Instagram likes. Person B is training to maintain the ability to get off the floor unassisted at age 75. After analyzing the mortality data and functional requirements across the human lifespan, I can tell you with certainty which person is making the smarter investment. And it's probably not who you think. Today, we're diving into strength standards, and by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly which tier of strength you need to prioritize and why chasing elite numbers might actually be a waste of your time. Let's start with something that's going to fundamentally shift your perspective. Strength isn't just about performance anymore. It's a clinical biomarker, a predictor of how long you're going to live. Recent epidemiological research has established that muscular strength is now recognized as a potent predictor of all-cause mortality, independent of your cardiorespiratory fitness. That means even if you can run a marathon, if you're weak, you're statistically at higher risk of premature death. So when I say how strong do you need to be, I'm not asking about your bench press max. I'm asking about your survival threshold. And here's where it gets interesting. Let me introduce you to the most important strength standard you've never heard of. It's not from a powerlifting federation or a CrossFit leaderboard. It's from biomechanical research on activities of daily living, and it might save your life. To rise from a seated position without using your arms, you need leg strength equivalent to approximately 40 to 47% of your body weight. Think about that for a second. If you fall below this threshold, you lose the ability to get out of a chair independently. You lose the ability to use the toilet without assistance. You lose your autonomy. But it gets more specific. Research has identified that you need a strength-to-body weight ratio of 3.0 to 3.5 Newton meters per kilogram of leg extension, torque, to perform basic tasks like climbing stairs and maintaining normal walking speed. Below 3.0, you're in the danger zone. Your risk of disability skyrockets. Now let's talk about grip strength, because this is where the data gets really compelling. Grip strength is used in clinical settings, not just to measure your hand, but as a proxy for your entire muscular system and your biological age. Here are the cut points. For men, a grip strength below 26 kilograms is clinically weak. For women, it's below 16 kilograms. But here's the kicker. For every 5 kilogram decrease in grip strength, there's a 16% increase in all-cause mortality risk. This is a linear relationship. Stronger literally equals safer. The clinical weakness thresholds vary slightly by body mass index, but the message is crystal clear. If you're a 30-year-old man and your grip strength is below 36 kilograms, you're in the bottom 10th percentile. You're weaker than 90% of your peers, and you're statistically closer to the frailty profile of someone decades older. And here's a functional standard that might surprise you. Can you get up from the floor without using your hands? This single test, called the floor to stand assessment, is correlated with mortality rates in the elderly. Inability to perform this task indicates a catastrophic loss of hip mobility, core stability, and single leg strength. It means if you fall, you can't get back up. These aren't aspirational goals, these are survival minimums. And if you're below them, this is a medical emergency, not a fitness goal. Now let's talk about the strength level that maximizes your longevity without requiring you to live in the gym. This is where the research gets fascinating because it reveals the law of diminishing returns. Multiple meta-analyses involving hundreds of thousands of participants have mapped the dose-response relationship between resistance training and mortality. Here's what they found. Engaging in any amount of resistance training reduces all-cause mortality by 10 to 17% compared to being sedentary, but the maximum risk reduction, approximately 20 to 27%, is consistently observed at a dose of just 30 to 60 minutes of resistance training per week. Let me repeat that, 30 to 60 minutes. That's 1 or 2 focused gym sessions. Beyond that, the benefits plateau. Several studies show a J-shaped or U-shaped curve where benefits peak at roughly 60 minutes per week, and beyond 130 to 150 minutes per week, the statistical reduction in mortality risk diminishes. And in some data sets, trends back toward baseline. Now, before the hardcore lifters panic, there's an important caveat. Studies on elite athletes who train far beyond 150 minutes per week show they actually live longer than the general population, with reduced cardiovascular disease and cancer mortality. This suggests the U-shape in general population studies might be confounded by other factors, like underlying health issues in people reporting high volumes, rather than exercise volume being directly harmful. But here's the practical takeaway. If your goal is health and longevity, not competitive performance, the minimum effective dose is shockingly low. You don't need to be in the gym 5 days a week. You need to be in the gym smart. So what does health optimization strength look like in practical terms? This is where we move beyond just not weak to functionally robust. For men, we're talking about a 1.5 times body weight squat, a 2 times body weight deadlift, and a 1.25 times body weight bench press. For women, it's a 1.25 times body weight squat, a 1.5 times body weight deadlift, and a 0.75 to 1.0 times body weight bench press. These are what strength coach Tim Henriquez calls good standards, achievable within 1 to 3 years of consistent training. They represent a level where you have reserves. You're not just surviving daily life. You have a buffer against injury, fatigue, and the inevitable decline of aging. Here's something most people completely miss. Strength isn't just about how much you can lift. It's about balance. Imbalances between opposing muscle groups are a leading cause of musculoskeletal injury. Let me give you 2 critical ratios that could save you from a catastrophic injury. First, the hamstring to quadriceps ratio. Your quadriceps extend your knee, your hamstrings flex it and restrain anterior tibial translation, which is the mechanism of ACL tears. Historically, a ratio of 0.60 has been considered acceptable. That means your hamstring strength should be at least 60% of your quadriceps strength. But modern research advocates for a functional ratio closer to 1.0, comparing eccentric hamstring strength to concentric quadriceps strength. This reflects the dynamic demand of real movement. As your quadriceps forcefully extend the knee during jumping or kicking, your hamstrings must eccentrically decelerate the leg to prevent hyperextension and ligament failure. Here's the scary part. In sports like soccer and basketball, 37 to 44% of athletes have a substantial strength imbalance below 0.6. This correlates directly with elevated injury rates. Second, the push-to-pull ratio for shoulder health. The modern training environment is dominated by bench pressing and mirror muscles. This creates anterior dominance, leading to protracted shoulders impingement and rotator cuff pathology. Programming guideline. For every set of pressing exercises, you should perform 2 to 3 sets of pulling exercises. And not just any pulling. Horizontal pulling, rows, face pulls, band pull aparts. These target the rhomboids, middle trapezius, and external rotators that stabilize your scapula. A practical benchmark. You should be able to perform a 1 rep max chin up with your body weight plus external load equivalent to your 1 rep max bench press. If you can bench 225 pounds but can't do a chin up with a 45-pound plate hanging from your waist, you have a structural deficit. Beyond health and structural integrity, we enter the realm where strength becomes its own pursuit. This is the domain of competitive powerlifters, Olympic weightlifters, and strength enthusiasts. For a 200-pound male, advanced standards look like this. A 405-pound plus squat. That's more than 2 times body weight. A 495-pound plus deadlift. That's 2.5 times body weight. A 315-pound bench press. A 200-pound overhead press. These numbers represent years, often decades, of focused training. They require not just physical adaptation, but complex periodization, meticulous recovery protocols, and often pharmaceutical assistance at the elite level. USA powerlifting classifications formalize this into tiers. A Class 3 total, which is often cited as the entry point for local competition, requires strength significantly above the general population, but is achievable for most dedicated intermediates within 3 to 5 years. An elite total? That's a different universe. For a 165-pound male, an elite total is 1,466 pounds. That's a 500-plus pound squat, a 350-plus pound bench, and a 600-plus pound deadlift. This is the top 1% of the top 1%. But here's the critical insight. These standards yield diminishing returns for health. A 2.5 times body weight deadlift doesn't make you significantly healthier than a 2.0 times body weight deadlift. The mortality benefits have already plateaued. At this point, strength is about the psychological and competitive rewards of high performance, not longevity. Now, let me explain why 2 people with the same muscle mass can have vastly different strength levels. This is crucial for understanding your own training. Strength expression is governed by 2 mechanisms: neural capacity to recruit muscle fibers and the physiological cross-sectional area of the muscle itself. In the initial phases of training, strength gains are predominantly neurological. A landmark study found that untrained subjects increased strength by approximately 21% over 20 to 24 weeks, but muscle growth only accounted for roughly 2.5% of that variance. The rest? Now, neural adaptation. Your nervous system learns to recruit more motor units, increase their firing frequency, and synchronize their activation. It also learns to relax opposing muscles. When you squat, your nervous system stops fighting itself by relaxing the hamstrings so the quadriceps can fire more efficiently. This neural efficiency explains why smaller strength athletes can outlift larger bodybuilders. Their nervous systems are optimized for maximal tension. It also explains why novice lifters can add weight to the bar every single workout for months. They're not growing new muscle that fast. They're unlocking existing potential. But once neural efficiency is maximized, further strength gains depend on hypertrophy. A larger muscle fiber has more cross bridges available to generate force. This is why advanced lifters must increase muscle mass to support higher strength standards. These standards assume a healthy adult population, but the reality is that age dramatically shifts the equation. For older adults, strength training isn't a luxury. It's a medical necessity. Muscle power declines at a rate of 3 to 5% annually after age 60. This loss of power, force times velocity, is the primary contributor to falls. The National Strength and Conditioning Association recommends older adults train at 70 to 85% of 1 rep max to combat the preferential atrophy of type 2 muscle fibers that occurs with aging. Additionally, power training at lower loads, 40 to 60% of 1 rep max, performed at high velocity, is critical for maintaining the fast twitch response needed to catch your balance. The focus for this demographic is strictly maintaining that 3.0 Newton meter per kilogram leg torque threshold. This ensures walking and stair climbing ability. This preserves independence. For youth, contrary to persistent myths, resistance training is safe and effective. Prepubescent strength gains are almost entirely neural. Children lack the hormonal profile to support significant hypertrophy. The focus should be on technique and movement literacy, not 1 rep max testing. But the research is clear. Resistance training in youth reduces injury risk in sports, improves bone mineral density, and improves motor skills. Here's some good news. Once you've achieved your target strength level, the volume required to maintain it is significantly lower than what it took to build it. Strength can be maintained for up to 32 weeks with frequencies as low as 1 session per week for younger populations and 2 sessions per week for older adults. Research indicates that 1 to 4 hard sets per muscle group per week is sufficient to preserve muscle mass and strength, provided the intensity is high. We're talking RPE 7 to 9, close to failure. This allows for a weekend warrior approach where busy professionals can compress their training into 1 or 2 weekly sessions without regressing. You maintain your functional independence and mortality benefits without living in the gym. So here's your homework. I want you to assess which tier you're currently in. First, test your grip strength. You can buy a hand dynamometer for $20 online. Squeeze it 3 times with each hand and record your best result. Compare it to the norms. Are you weak, normal, or strong for your age and gender? Second, assess your lower body. Can you rise from a chair without using your hands? Can you get up from the floor without using your hands? If the answer to either is no, this is your priority, not your squat max, your fundamental mobility. Third, if you're already training, calculate your strength to body weight ratios. Take your 1 rep max squat, deadlift, and bench press, divide by your body weight, and see where you land. Are you at a decent, good, or great standards? And finally, assess your structural balance. Can you do a chin-up? How many rows do you do? Compared to presses, do you have knee pain that might indicate a quad-dominant pattern? Knowledge first, then optimization. Remember, the goal isn't to be the strongest person in the gym. The goal is to be strong enough to live the life you want without limitation, to maintain your independence as you age, and to have reserves when life demands them. Next week, we're tackling the consistency paradox. Why willpower fails, why motivation is a trap, and what actually works for showing up day after day, year after year. The neuroscience is going to surprise you. Until then, this is Roquinia reminding you that strength isn't about vanity. It's about survival. And the strongest version of you isn't the one that lifts the most. It's the one that can still lift at all when it matters most. Keep upgrading intelligently